Welcome back to VCS Week 4, Day 1. This is time for our second series of the day. Saigon Buffalo versus MGN Box Esports. This is going to be it's not the most even matchup on paper. Is it, Quincy?
It's not the most even matchup on paper. I think it's kind of favored for Saigon Buffalo. I mean, our MBE representative, who also didn't make roster changes and was maybe even our favorite above GARM initially. Right now, they aren't that. Let's get it straight right with this. But either way, on the official stream, we just now saw it was 98 to 2% on the fan vote. I think it's not as one-sided as that. But the direction is kind of speaking one language, and that means SGB definitely be the clear favorite here. I would say it's more like 90 to 10, but 98 to 2. We can also go this way, as we load onto the draft, of course.
Yeah, with that, we're going to go to draft, and it's of course worth remembering. MGN Box Esports, they are looking for their first game win. MBE has not managed to win a single game, and I'm very interested to see how they approach this draft. Slowis's two main AD carries, Lucian and Draven, have been banned away, and this has been something I've been looking at and saying, why are we constantly playing these bot lane focused, try and hard win carries for slows and not try anything scaling? But now they're gonna have to look for something a little bit different as an early pickup of the Gragas and the Xayah for Team Buffalo.
Yeah, and Xayah, of course, a pick that remains to be seen every every game on this patch where it really dominates the other ADCs. So it's definitely not something to scoff at, as Fails is the hover on the side of Box, and just gotta remain and see what they will pick out. Will be their failures. I mean, many meta ADCs are banned away, and failures
you can't
one
do
of
this.
those bans of first series.
Okay.
And failures fresh, of course, something that you could pick up. As a fresh lock in, I'm not quite sure. I think it's still hovered. They could play Aphelios together with Nautilus, but I mean, if Fresh is open, you just pick it with Fresh. I mean, the versatility is just more there. You just have the Dark Passage as his escape tool on top of your usual stuff, and Nautilus just doesn't have that. He has a bit more on the offensive side, but the defense utility is just something that you just cannot give away for free.
Yeah, I saw that Braum hover and I thought, no, that's just inting blind picking the Braum, but they go for the Thresh, and we're going to see two pretty standard duos come out for the spot side, and Shogun and Taki should be able to put on a pretty impressive performance, hopefully, on this Xayah Rakan. It's still 13-4, so this should still be the strongest duo on the patch. And very excited to see how they put it to use. As our bans come in, focus towards the top side.
Yeah, top side picks getting taken away. The Jax first, maybe even the Cassandra has a follow-up at some point, or maybe one of those teams going for the Renekton. Sejuani is locked in for the side of Box, and they might just flex it for Sunma in the top lane. However, Sejuani top lane kind of falling out of favor. It's not as strong as it used to be, so I wouldn't expect it to be played there. As maybe for Hasmet, like one pickup that they could really go for would be the Renekton. But Hasmet is not really like the Renekton kind of player, right? I mean, he's more of the R5 counter pick kind of top laner that pulls off something like the Vayne, like the Akali back in the day. Those picks aren't really relevant right now, but I wouldn't be too surprised if I see one of those this time.
Yeah, last week we saw a lot of successful Buffalo picking up playmakers in the mid lane like Galio, like Khaled, and even like Cassandra, whilst shifting the priority to the top side and giving Hasmet a lot of things like Gwen and these big carries. Renekton should be fine. Of course, can flex to that mid lane. We've seen Dio1 in particular play a lot of it in mid, but definitely still has but Hasmet definitely can play a Renekton for sure. It's a nice safe blind pick.
Not really the hardest champion to pilot, I dare say. I mean, the trade pattern's pretty obvious, right? You E in, you W auto, you Q, you E out. That's basically how you really play it. Especially against the melee matchups, it's not too hard to play. And Hasmet, I mean, he's a player, he can play like the more mechanically intense champions. As Wukong gets picked up quite late, so it will actually beat the Sejuani in the top lane, very likely so. I mean, Sejuani mid lane, we have seen from G2 Caps this one time. Not something that I would expect the VCS teams to really bring out. Although I could see Froggy on that pick in general, but Froggy is definitely happy to probably play this Gragas this time. And the side of Saigon Buffalo to pick a jungler last. What do I want to see though is the question. I think something like a Lilia could be good here because you want to have an AP jungler against the Wukong. On another side though, what about Foggy Renekton and you get Na for the top lane? I think you would very much dislike that, right? I mean, you hate Na. Or do I remember that wrong?
I mean, I do hate Na. I hate this more.
Same.
This is not good right now. Unless this is Aatrox mid, in which case, let him cook. I still think it's a bad cooking. It's going to be a burnt bowl of cornflakes, most likely, but...
It's also not really a Foggy champion. I think actually I hate it less than the Na because I would hate Na against Sejuani top lane. Sejuani top lane was a counter pick designed to play against him and not to really blow him up early on, and the Na would kind of self-counter pick himself. The Aatrox I could see working. If he survives the initial combo from Sejuani, he could just leech off the Sejuani and just heal on that very huge meatball, and that could work out definitely well for the side of Hasmid. And Foggy Renekton is something... It kind of seems like a Foggy champion to me, so I would let him cook rather on the Renekton than on the Aatrox mid lane.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's come out with a very short range comp, a nice bruiser composition. I feel Aatrox just doesn't function in a world where Bramble Vest gives 40% CDR, where you can just buy that simple
40% anti-heal.
Anti-heal.
40% CDR would be insane. I mean, CDR doesn't even exist anymore. We have
That's Cosmic Drive.
Yes.
Yeah, it's no. So yeah, that 40% Grievous wounds, being able to just being so easily obtainable, I think really is the reason why Aatrox has just been out of favor. So we're gonna have to see how Hasmid can make it work. They've been really leaning on giving him as much comfort as possible, and this is one of his most played champions, just behind the Gwens. So just trying to keep Hasmid happy. That's the goal for SGB.
Yeah, that's what is their goal, to keep them happy, and our goal to make you happy is showing you the game, of course, as we load onto the Rift for this first game with Box playing against Saigon Buffalo. It is actually Hasmid on the Aatrox. You said he is very comfortable on this champion in general, so I'm inclined to just let him cook and see how he really plays it out. On the side of Sanma, I mean, he hasn't really had the best laning plays. I remember from rewatching last evening that he had this one Na against Gwen game where he was kind of dominating at least the early laning phase, as he should have on a Na pickup. And now he's on Sejuani with Ignite, definitely a champion that is very strong in the early game. However, despite being such a lane bully, not really something that you're really strong that much, as it doesn't really increase its snowball effectiveness just by building more tank items and just slapping onto you with all the HP she has. I mean, she has HP scaling, but it doesn't really mean that you really bring the point further with playing around Sejuani.
However, this time with an Aphelios Thresh, you can absolutely weak side this bot lane and try and just maybe utilize the roaming potential and get the mid jungler ahead through farming the top lane by linking up with the Sejuani, of course. But now we're going to see just a little bit of starting off a leash given by Hasmid to Guri to try and accelerate this Gragas' jungle clear. Try and get him to match Tomrio onto the bot side. But Gromp Skip should give Tomrio lots of access to that bot side before anything can really get done. And Zodiac aggressively pushing in. This is a good strength of level 1 Flay on Thresh. And is making up for a relatively weak level 1 from Aphelios.
Yeah, absolutely does. Shogun getting kind of chunked there already, as we see slows. Even if he would get chunked, he has a serum, he would just all heal back up in no time, as he didn't even really need to make much use of it. And the Flay from Zodiac definitely dealing some damage and establishing them some wave control for the race to level 2. Of course, Shogun and Taki respecting that, rightfully so, and hitting level 2 on their own as Guri and Tomio might meet each other very early. I mean, especially Tomio, right? He goes for very cheesy level 1 to 3 roads on his early game picks in general, and this might just be one more out of those.
Yeah, this has worked out okay in the end, as Guri was looking for a little bit of a cheese gank, and that not panning out the way he wanted, just with Tomrio being in the area, should now mean that Nico should be able to keep trying to put the pressure on, use that range advantage to try and push Froggy out of lane. But Froggy has been getting some good trades. You can see both mid laners are about even health, and Froggy has much more inbuilt sustain naturally. Nuga will try and back for an early tier, but it's not looking like a good start in the mid lane.
It absolutely isn't. I mean, Nugu is very low in mana, and Renekton, I mean, he also has no mana, but that just means he has no mana as a resource. Yeah, he can just use his spells as he wants, and he also only uses Fury as a resource. Can of course make good use of that, and even sustain up back more than he already would against the Ryze. And I mean, this top lane mid lane flex situation with Renekton being Petro mid lane is maybe just already the approach from Sagan Buffalo to really bring Box out of their comfort zone. I mean, the solo lanes in general have been the struggling parts of the team, as I dare say. And I mean, just with this last rotation, flexing the Renekton to mid lane, getting this top lane comfort counter pick for Hasmid, just means both solo lanes on the Box side are already not off to a good start at least.
Yeah, the nice early moves from Zodiac to keep an eye on Guri and stop him from really trying to find anything in the bot lane and tip that over. And we're just seeing small moves, early resets coming through, a tier and some cloth armors being built up by Sumner. Just trying to get ahead to that, and good Lantern, but can Guri make this happen? Taki will go in and land the grand entrance. Zodiac not able to follow up with the flame means that it's just a flash burned from, well, 2 flashes burned from either side, and all in all, pretty even gank coming through as well played by the side of MBE.
And not so well played by the side of Sagan Buffalo, I dare say. I mean, they didn't really look to be on the same page. I mean, Guri went in with just the barrel roll and not with the body slam, and Taki was like very, very trigger happy. He went for the flash, grand entrance on the Rakan, and I think neither Guri nor Shogun was really ready for that one, as it was the other day just 2 flashes being traded on either side, and yeah, I mean, you get both bot and flashes, expand Gragas' flash for that one, and at the end of the day, I think it's okay, especially if the trade you really pulled off there, but not really what you really hoped for here. And here's Taki again.
That's a good room from Taki, and Nugu will end up falling down to that ignite, and first blood for the Taki man, for the Rakan.
Yeah, and Nugu not really respecting the potential support form coming out. There was some free time bought by this gank we have just now seen earlier on in the bot lane, so Taki had a free time to go for this one. Nugu not really being in a position to play against it. Didn't flash the good entrance, so he just dies with it. You see how the vision really was set up here. He sees Taki pretty late, is already basically stunned by the Ruthless Predator by the side of Froggy, and then yeah, Taki comes in with a good entrance, had the ignite to slap it into his face, and he just slowly ticks down to the ignite. Kind of sad to see. But I mean, first blood for the Rakan, not the most influential thing, but you're still happy on the side of Sagan Buffalo to get that first blood.
And then this top side, as we're currently taking a look up there, Hussman is getting a small lead. There's still a big wave to collect, of course, for Summer. But as it is, Summer has managed to find that first back without expending that teleport. So Hex Flash coming in from Zodiac will land the hook and the roam from Nugu, but Guri is here to instantly counter. The Lantern will keep him safe, and as the Rune Prison lands, and lots of damage traded on either side. No. The Q does come through from slows, and Shogun will be forced to cleanse the hook.
Yeah, good cleanse side. Tommy was looking around, but he's not level 6, so he can't really do much. Neither is Guri, of course, but I mean, for the 4v3 tournament, it would have been Tommy being more. But Froggy? Nugu J6.
Dominus pops, and right on top of Nugu. Lantern is in good spot. Zodiac following well. And in the end, it's just the Dominus burns, but it is more time Nugu has to spend away from mid lane, and Froggy is just dominating right now.
Not just away from mid lane, also away from the Drake. I mean, the damage is done. At the other day, it was ultimate just spend it for a low cooldown, but I mean, with the HP bar being so low, this will net Sagan Buffalo this first Drake, which is of course something that they very much like to have. And here in top lane, we might just see a little bit of a shift. I mean, Hasmid had a good CS lead up already in the 1v1, but now the Bramble Vest is finished. 40% Grievous Wounds on the Sejuani, and maybe this alone will be the tournament for this matchup. Just remains to be seen how it really plays out. I mean, Summer trades into him.
There is a Wukong on the way, so Husband now trapped in this alcove should surely fall down. Has that flash available, but in comes Permafrost and the ultimate as well, and that's a freebie coming over for Summer.
Yeah, that's just really Tommy being around there, and Hasmid not really respecting it. Made it ultimately just a question of how Hasmid dies, not really if he dies. This ultimately means he will fall down to this one. As we see in his item build, likely looking to be the Black Cleaver wash for him, as Black Cleaver as a first item is very, very fine right now. Giving some good stats, you only need the Mythic as a second item or maybe even later on. Could be Divine Thunder still, but I would definitely not expect it to be the case for him. As with Husband dying, however, and TP being down, Herald being charged by the side of Box Esports, and Buffaloes are contesting it, however.
They are contesting, and Guru will land the smite, and they're going to find the knock-in of just the clone, so get a little bit hyped, but in the end, Guru is able to take away that Rift Herald. Good smite.
Good smite, but this even being allowed to happen is what I really want to criticize here. I mean, Box were up one member. This shouldn't be such a 50-50 situation, and it being that just means that Tiger and Buffalo can get away with murder here. They just steal the Herald with a good smite and just one cast to really spread everyone away from each other, so they can just walk out and Box just has to watch as it happens. And with that, Tiger and Buffalo with some small wins. That's another small win, I dare say. They are now up 2k gold. They got the first Drake. They got the first Herald as well. And Box not really finding anything.
Yeah, Zodiac getting a little bit spooked there. Thought someone else was with Saki. And all in all, not even a shove from Slows to try and, trade up, pick up some plates on the bot side. And as it is, Shogun is just slowly getting a small lead, about a wave so far. And even though the gold is, the gold is about 1.5k ahead, just most of it living in the CS department of Saigon Buffalo. And though MBE are trying to make things happen with the gank on top side and the such, they're just slowly bleeding out, just passively losing the game.
Yeah, just sad to see, right? Just as the game goes on without skirmishes, they just slowly losing CS, and if they play skirmishes and they get outplayed there, it's just the game breaking open. It's a bit like watching a Western team playing against a Korean team at like an international event from like season 5 or something, where it's just like, if they constantly keep the ball rolling, go for aggressive plays and they work out, then they can win. But otherwise they just can't, and it's just how Box is really losing game after game, sadly. I mean, they don't look terrible in those losses either, right? I mean, just 10 games they played so far, lost all 10, but they definitely show like some sort of promise, but never all 5 players together, and never enough to really net them the win.
Yeah, right. Currently, Summer is doing decent work in
the dive
top side, but there is a huge dive in the bot lane. Slow just manages to get away with a great flash, and now in comes Nugu, but Froggy is here as well. Big Blade Caller won't actually catch onto anyone. Flash and the hook. Shogun may be in trouble now as Tomrio is in the backline. That is one down, and the flash onto the Cyclone from Froggy. Lanta gets out, and Zodiac will be traded back, but 1-for-1, you take that any day.
You take it any day instead of Box, especially if you fall behind like that. Gotta say that it is a 1-for-1, makes it kind of okay for Saigon Buffalo yet again, with Froggy kind of awkwardly standing in the tri-bush, wasting most of his dominance duration, but still able to finish one kill. Gotta say, good flash reaction from Slows. I mean, he was about to get killed by the Flash Blade Caller. Oh, here we see the play again. I just wrap it up from scratch here. Dive onto Slows. Lantern bails him out at first. Here we see the flash. Flash on the Flash Featherstorm from Shogun. Beautiful. He survives. Wellwop comes out. Froggy is there with the dominance to chase down to Nugu, who doesn't really fall to anything here. They still start the chase on the side of Box. Tommy with a good Cyclone to get into the backline together with all the damage following up to kill Shogun, and Froggy at least gets the consolation prize. Kills off Zodiac with all the Fury empowered auto attacks and spells he can really dish out. So at the end of the day, it's a 1-for-1. Box can live with that, but so does Saigon Buffalo.
Froggy picking up now the Prowler's Claw. He is going all in assassination on this Crocodile. Except for the fact he's going for the Conqueror. We like to see PTA on our Assassin Crocodiles, but in the end, it's doing alright. He is having a fantastic game so far, and still just that 2,000 gold lead for the side of Buffalo. MBE have responded fairly well, but just these small advantages stacking up over and over.
Yeah, and speaking of the small advantages, Herald Charge now coming out, and Dive is being threatened. Froggy is here as well, so the bot lane from Box knows they have no business being even there, so it will not just be one plating, but make it two, probably even three, with Shogun free hitting onto this turret. Or will they? Will they even take the turret here? They don't. I think they could have gotten the turret there.
The extra resistances and not quite enough wave seem to be the case, and with Guri back straight on, trying to back off onto the dragon, Looks like the tower will end up falling, but it's just going to be a little bit delayed. And
I
Guru
understand
gets to
that.
start up the dragon. Yeah.
They could have done it with Gui being there in melee range, but they respected the potential collapse on Tomio, who actually is close by and actually wants to start off the Drake right now on the side of Gui. But
Oh
here we see
my
the fight again.
God,
Fog
that
is
is
in there. Renekton plush.
Oh, that is a ton of damage, and that's the Prowler's Claw rush. Normally you tend to see the blade coming through first, but hey, Froggy decided he needed 3 dashes straight away, and he's put them to use, killed off Tomrio, and that 100% secures the dragon. Sunma's doing his best, getting his damage down, but he's still just a Sejuani. He doesn't actually have all that much damage.
Yes, still has Ignite and the ultimate, so I think he actually could have gotten for the kill right there, but on the other side, Hazmat, of course, he would have his flash and his world ender, so if he flashed it correctly, could maybe turn that. His platings are falling off, that's sad to see, right?
So sad.
Barely missing out on one plating. And speaking of Froggy, right, we see the skirmish again. He's with the Prowler's Claw ability, as we said. One more dash for him, and also just a stupid amount of lethality to really just net the kill into Tommy. I mean, he has a Stone's Capacitive, but all that armor can get nullified, especially in the early game, with the Prowler's Claw being there. So it's 2 Drakes for the side of Saigon Buffalo, and them really stampeding ahead in this game. 4k gold at 15 minutes. Taki, you are on a what, but I think you might just be able to recall there.
Between Prowler's Claw active, so Hook does miss from Zodiac, so Taki shall be fine. But yeah, between Prowler's Claw active and the empowered Slice and Dice, you can just destroy any armor that exists as this Renekton. And Second Rift Herald is now on the board. MBE, if they grab it, they will find a bounty, and that could be the start of something resembling a comeback. SGB also in the area looking to fight, though.
I think it's the sad thing. The fact that there are bounties already, the 15-minute mark, just speaks volume of how far behind they really are. And Nugu can't really be there, right? I mean, he has a Realm Up, but the Realm Up on the level 1 rank doesn't really give you global pressure. It just gives you like a quarter of the map you could travel with. It's like a Nocturne ultimate on first rank, not really that impressive. With that, Saigon Buffalo can start off this Rift Herald. There's nothing that Box can really do about it. I mean, Tomio could look for a Lucky Steal, and maybe at this point he might even be in a position where he should do it, but just this Rift Herald, not worth to really go for a suicide flip. It's just second Herald. You lose the mid lane T1 turret either way, and platings are already done, but actually do you lose it? Shogun not confident to step up, and rightfully so, as 3 members from Box are defending the turret.
I mean, it should fall on the next wave, and they don't even commit to the bot lane tower to try and trade up that bounty. Everything is just sort of slowly falling apart. Now Froggy has decided to match into Sunma. He can't really contest the Renekton. That should be another tower to SGB, and now the levy has started to break, and Buffalo are accelerating this gold lead even further.
Yeah, that's without the mid lane turret still falling, right? I mean, there should be still a bit of standing gold on their side, so the gold could be even further. But Foggy now in the 1v1.
Do you really want this fight?
Gui is around, and Foggy's a level ahead as well. This is not a good thing.
Yeah, okay, this is a bait. Tomiro was on his way, but he's gonna just find a fat man, and this fight will keep going. Nuku has teleported in, and everyone will scatter. But that's still a teleport wasted for MBE.
Teleport down.
No.
Also Ignite from Sunma, which is skill pressure for the next few minutes, I guess. And Saigon Buffalo even emoting them. I mean, they don't really show any respect. And so far, as hard as it gets to say, Box doesn't show that this respect would be deserved. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's looking quite rough in that regard. Another talking point I have is on the side of Froggy's item belt. He doesn't even go Blade second. I think he actually goes Black Cleaver second now. So Black Cleaver is just such a good item to really have. I mean, Hazmat, however, didn't go Black Cleaver. He went for Godwinker instead, which might just be a good adaptation, as 2 Black Cleavers would be a bit overkill, as you can't really make good use of this stacking synergy. I mean, it's anti-synergy basically, because you only can get up to 6 stacks, and if they are already there, then they are already there. Can't really make more of it.
Yeah. Froggy has decided not necessarily to build perhaps what is the most efficient or most damage. What he has decided to do is, I am going to be Shogun's armor penetration item. I am building everything I can to remove armor. That's my take. Because Prowler's Claw Rush, Black Cleaver, Renekton, there goes that mid lane tower as well. And
It's
now
much better
Shogun
in
just
team
gets to
fights.
chill out.
I mean, you could go to the torpedo reacting build with Blade of the Ruined King second, right? But I mean, with Black Cleaver, you have at least a bit of HP, a bit of ability haste. You can manage these team fights way easier. And I mean, this R penetration is just working out for everyone, basically. I mean, it's like GUI. I mean, he won't really make much use of it, but you have Husband in the top lane on an 80 heavy threat. Also, Shogun, of course, on a Zarya, who doesn't really build armor penetration himself, as he goes for this Gale Force and a Warrior item build that you usually see on the Zarya. So with that, Froggy very efficient in his choice this game. As the next Drake is spawning right now, will be taken almost on spawn by Sagan Buffalo, will be an early soul point in a 19-minute for them. And hate to say it, but Box isn't really fighting anything. All they got this game was those 2 kills and this 1 turret they took on the top side.
Yeah, and I'm feeling with all this armor penetration being, or this armor shred rather, coming out from Froggy, and maybe Hasmed will consider some as well. Actually, he's likely going for the Starax. Froggy now caught out. He will not be that tanky, so should be an easy pickup. Gold goes over to Tamriel, which is not ideal, but hey, a kill is a kill. You needed anything you can take.
Yeah, definitely juicy, but
yeah.
And I wonder if I can really fault Froggy much for that. I mean, of course, it looked a bit clownish him being the 1v4, but they cycloned and Realmbot for that play, and also Burden Ignite.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's something for the up to taking for the set of Box. I mean, those small comeback victories are definitely a good thing, especially with shutdown mechanics being in this game. Was Froggy really to blame there? I have no elaborate answer on that one. I think it's actually fine to die there. With the Herald being pushed in the mid lane right now, the charge will follow certainly in a few seconds from GUI. This won't quite take out the turret, I think, but it will leave a huge chunk.
Yeah, in the end for Froggy, it is a mistake, but it's not one that's going to really cause any impact. It's not like they could convert it into an objective bounty or anything, so in the end, it's just a 1 on his scoreboard that he didn't really need. And all in all, and Buffalo is still just keeping the pressure on. Box cannot really extend past the river, except in a group like that 4-man. So then, yeah, you're not really sweating so much as SGB. You're just kind of waiting for your own strength to be at a level where you feel comfortable taking this Baron. Or maybe you're just waiting that 3 minutes to take that easier objective on the Dragon, where MBE kind of has to come fight you. Because they can maybe turtle through a Baron, but they don't want to give up that Elder Soul for free. That Dragon Soul for free. Not Elder.
Yeah.
Not there yet.
Yeah. Not there yet. I mean, maybe in 8 minutes, but I honestly doubt that the game will prolong for 8 minutes, I think. The likely case was just now described. Going for the Soul, it's way easier to tank than the Baron would be. Baron is still kind of early, despite the huge gold lead that Sagan Buffalo accomplished in this game. I mean, actually 5k gold at 20 minutes isn't even looking that bad anymore for Box. Regardless of that, though, Hextech Soul would be very attractive for them to take, and I don't think that Box can really have much of a say in this. On the upside for them, the Word of Ages from Nugu's Rise is starting to stack up pretty quickly. I mean, in 2 minutes, for the potential Hextech Soul fight, it would be ready, and he already has the Seraph, so he will be some sort of strong, I guess. I think we can definitely make that argument for him.
Yeah, if Nugu
but
can
now,
grab another level or so. Oh, but yes.
Maybe we spoke bollocks as they actually start the Baron at the 22-minute mark.
Yeah, they got a little bit bored of waiting. They realized 2 minutes is too long to wait. And hey,
Froggy and
they can
Dominus
force that fight from MBE, but MBE they're playing it so carefully. They don't want to lose the game instantly, and Baron just goes without really any contest.
And I would at least usually fault them for Froggy burning the Dominus, just sending the zoning zone. But someone even compete for this to just do nothing. This is just sad from Box.
Oh no, here's the re-engage from Taki, because now everything got blown. Huge Barrel will just delete Zodiac instantly, and it's only the 1 kill, really, but that's kind of just rubbing salt in the wound.
Actually, I think that's not even worth.
MBE.
Burn the Flash or Can't Engage just for the support at this point when you are already this ahead. I think that's actually kind of okay for Box that they only lose Zodiac there. Either way, kind of awkward situation, right? Nugu also burning his Flash over there.
Thrash,
yeah. TP also being down on the side of Sunma. Yeah, Froggy Flash as well, you just don't say it. And here we see the replay of that engage. Glacial Prism is out, Zodiac.
I'm crying.
Zodiac went for a flash hook and just completely missed. Now Taki is in with the engage, and now all the Death Ball components from Sagan Buffalo charge in, and I expect it to be like this to be 3 kills and maybe even the game, but it just being Zodiac is almost okay for Vox, I gotta say.
Yeah, Zodiac, he's the sport. He's up just in no time at all, really, with those death timers being low. He's currently getting up to level 10. He's ahead of Taki, I suppose. He's got that going for him, but it's not looking good as this dragon is now set to spawn in 30 seconds. Just complete control of the side of Buffalo, and now Aatrox has come through the Hextech portal and controlling this bot side. They just can't access the river.
Yeah, you can't even kill anyone, right? Yeah, this will just be the Hextech soul. I mean, potentially you could catch Guri because he's on the full AP Gragas spell, which is also a very smart adaptation here. He's a single AP threat on second Buffalo. All the members on box are very inclined to just build a lot of armor and not so much MR. This Night Harvester Gragas will definitely hurt, and already did, as I dare say. With the Hextech soul now being finished, Hasmet still pushing up this bot lane with the Baron empowered minions. Will just net them another inner turret. Has a lot of gold. 600 gold you get for inner turrets right now. I mean, inflation definitely keeping up on Summoner Swift.
Yeah, someone's just sort of standing there looking at Hasmet. Oh, here comes
Hasmet?
the attempt, but Hasmet's gonna flash. He's got his ultimate, and here comes Tomrio. But here comes the rest of SGB, and they just do so much. Oh, never mind. They don't do enough as Guri just feeds himself over to and gives 2 kills to the side of Slows. That's exactly what they needed.
I'm a bit underwhelmed by Saga Buffalo on that situation. But I gotta say, glass half full. Box with good catches. Yeah. I mean it. I mean, against this Baron push from Saga Buffalo, already down the Hextech soul, and they still just get a 2-for-0 here. You see how it played out. They use the Hextech gates to just fight the flank on Hasmet. He's in the World Ender, but as long as he isn't hitting stuff and just running away, he can't really heal back up. So he just gets CC'd, then gets blown to pieces, as he cannot heal in those situations either. Guri tries to go for a hero play and ultimately looks like a clown as a full AP Vargas, not finishing off anyone. Slows even keeping his summoner spells. Good composure on that side, right? And now a lot of time into Baron buffs and to shutdowns being funneled into box makes it look that they are at least mentally within this game.
I do have to say, Slows with the early rush on the Lord Dominic's is a little bit confusing. I know you get the bonus damage against people with higher health, but there is no armor on the side of SGB. It's only just now being built in. I think an earlier Infinity Edge might have been a little bit better, but in the end, it's not really a huge issue. It's all up to how SGB plays more than anything else. 8k ahead in Soul.
Still another catch.
Up and
what's Hasmet doing, man?
Just kill Hasmet.
Hasmet had a rough start to the split, then he kind of looked like to be back on track, and now this game again. I mean, this laning phase was excellent, right? I mean, it isn't necessary.
That's fine,
I mean, be better, Hasmet. You know you can play better. I mean, this is just him being dissynced with the team, and against better teams, this costs you probably greatly. I mean, against Box, it's probably whatever. I mean, as it sounds, it's just like two deaths on the scoreboard and just some time wasted. But at the end of the day, if you do this against Garm, if you do this against Waze, if you do this against Cerberus, they will rip you apart for it.
Yeah, I mean, even there, it was almost pretty bad. There was almost the ability for Slows to pick up that extra tower in the mid lane and perhaps finish off his Infinity Edge there and then, but just grouping up our MBE and just trying to pick off stragglers. In the end, it's a kill traded for a tower, and gold drinker value, pretty good. Pretty much healing Hasmet to full, but finally now, MBE are going to get some more gold back with these bounties. And that's one they need to try and bring things back together. Hasmet, potentially in a bad position. Might be a bit hard to kill him with just these two, but we're always watching Hasmet now.
Yeah, the observers know what's interesting here. I mean, how far will Hasmet overextend? I mean, just now in this replay we saw, I mean, he could just take the wave. I mean, him trading his life for the turret is probably fine, but he could at least like take this wave a few units further to his turret. So it could maybe crash into his own minion wave. Either way, regardless of that, he can still take this wave. And considering they have such a oppressive gold lead, they had the Baron, they had the Hextech Soul, this doesn't look to me like a top team against a volunteer team in those few minutes at least. So Elder will spawn in 2 minutes. Might be very attractive for Sagan Buffalo to take, or actually not to take, as this coin flip, if there happens to be one for Tomio, might just lose them the game. So Sagan Buffalo right now, with Baron being up on the table again, will probably just play around this Baron and have Hasmet be on the other side of the map with the TP for a potential join to really play 5v5 teamfight out. And as they could bait out something like this, there's not really an equal response for the side of Box possible.
Yeah, as long as MBE can sort of keep them from removing the Baron from the map, the opportunity for the Elder flip continues to exist. Now, SGB just sort of moving on to the Baron, and they just need to start it up, take it down, and there's not a response from MBE. They're just not fast enough.
Yeah, W is not even going into the Baron direction. Yeah, I think they might know, but they are like, it's gone either way. We just try our luck at the Elder and try to get Tomio in some way. I mean, he has his warrior trickster, he has a flash up available for him. Him not being in the pit is something that's very hard for Sagan Buffalo to really manage. So on the side of them, it will just be, you probably just position to siege, and if Box moves in forward, the Elder Drake, you can just threaten to end the game, and that's why, if anything, the Elder would need to be started by the side of Sagan Buffalo, and they just don't need to do that. So Sagan Buffalo can just go for the siege, maybe even a 1-3-1 situation with Atox in one lane, Renekton in the other, and the 3-man squad in the mid lane, and there would be no equal response for Box possible. However, with Elder being soon up, and if Box doesn't be the position for the Elder as well, it could just be free Elder for Sagan Buffalo.
Elder up. MBE have gotten a lot of gold onto their Aphelios, so the opportunity is there to create 200 years of gameplay. Yeah, but as it is right now, there's just so much control over this river. Shogun alone just holding the fort, and the Baron as well. Hasmet on a bit of a flank, but now Froggy just pushing down the lane. As you said, that could be a way to win. Realm Warp just to check for vision. Taki on the flank as well. He's going to get spotted. And as they're just trying to delay. Okay, everything started up now.
I hate everything about this, by the way. How is Sagan Buffalo making this tense in such a one-sided game with them having Hextech and Baron? Foggy now on the flank, but this Elder shouldn't even be started by them. Just don't play on the Elder. Just siege. You have Baron.
Just send Froggy, just send at least someone to go kill the base so they even have to choose.
Threaten the push.
That's not going to land onto Taki. Mikhail's blown.
Make Box start the Elder.
Dragon.
Your 8k app. If they have to start the Elder even, I mean, they also burn resources on that, need to tank it, but just win the fight.
Bit of a pinch, the flash goes through, but they don't land it. Okay, the Aphelios ult is blocked, and Aphelios will die. Shogun staying alive just by the skin of his teeth. And that's the wallet coming through finally. And that fight took a while to explode, but now SGB can just walk in the base like they should have done already.
Okay, gotta say that fight looked pretty cool, especially with this corridor, the Featherstorm really plunging in, and also Forget Hasmet diving right into 5 people, and them even cleaning up this fight 5-0. It shouldn't really have gotten to this point, is what I think we both agree on, but either way, Sagan Buffalo making it look easy in this first game of 32 minutes against Team Box.
I saw that turning around for the side of Box, being in that corridor, and Aphelios Infernum ultimate. Didn't happen, so someone managed to get ahead of the team and block the explosion. But still, that was way tenser than it needed to be. I'm not terribly happy with how they ended out that game, as we can take a quick look at the stats. But all in all, it was a pretty dominant showing from Buffalo. Can't complain too much in the end, but yeah.
They never fell behind in gold ever in this game. I mean, we see this small red lining on the gold graph for the first few minutes, but that's of course very irrelevant. And they didn't drop a single Drake, a single Baron, anything.
You can see a few dips, which were where Hasmet died.
Yes, those were the dips. And I mean, 6 kills they got. I mean, 3 of those were on Hasmet. gotta say, in general, though, a low kill game, right? I mean, 15 kills in total, especially for VCS standards, is not a lot. And Saigon Buffalo overall make it look like a clean macro game from that side. But I think, considering their approach on those last Elder League and stuff, a bit too passive in that regard. Even I would almost say it. They definitely could have made it a quicker job. I mean, 31 minutes against Box is actually a kind of long game time.
Yeah, they sort of. I mean, there were moments they could have pushed things a little bit faster. Moments they could have not given some tempo back. But in the end, they pretty much put Box to task, as was rather expected. So we're gonna see if they can round that out in game 2 just after this break.
She was everything to me. But they took her. And with her, they took my kindness and my mercy. That was their mistake. Because now, all I've got left is a cold heart. They thrive on doubt. They feast on fear. These wretched abominations blight this world. And every last one of them will perish by my hand. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. And they say I have a grim sense of humor.
Welcome back to the final, well, possibly final game of the night for VCS English. I am Mabinogi. This is Quincy. We have a number. Well, we have a series between MGM Bucks Esports and Saigon Buffalo, and the Buffalo pretty handily took out MGN, who continue to remain winless. Can they turn it around and get something on the board for them?
Hello, this is me, I'm Quincy. They are on the side of MGN Box Esports, 11 games down, 11 losses, and it's not looking too happy for them. Gotta say though, Saigon Buffalo not only took them out, but they also took their precious time in the first game. And of course, on the uphill side for them, maybe they can play a cleaner game in the second game, despite just now having a very, I would say, quiet game in the regards of low kill score. I mean, it was 9-6 at the end of the day. Hasmet kind of inting, so his team can take turns on the other side of the map. Maybe a bit more rough around the edges than we expected him to be, as he is also kind of recharging and finding some momentum within the split, as he had a very slow start for his own side. And for the side of Box, of course, can they finally win a game? They always show like a bit of promise in one game, but never enough to really bring it home.
Yeah, so last game I thought some pretty nice things from Sunma, able to play out the Sejuani Aatrox matchup quite well. Slows was almost a threat, and there was some moments from Zodiac where he was able to turn around some attempts from Buffalo, but in the end, the mid-jungle duo just weren't there. Hopefully this game they can step it up, and the rest can keep their form. And maybe we can put together a team, some kind of cohesive unit, because as you say, one player just starts to collapse every game, just unable to consistently get all 5 players working together. So we move on to the draft. What do you want to see as MGN try? What do you want to see Bucks try to do to get something?
One good thing, of course, is going for red side, because I think, especially with them being a team that struggles in their solo lanes, I mean, especially this last swap around on the side of Saigon Buffalo with Renekton going mid and then Aatrox top kind of ruined their game plan to some extent, I gotta say, as it definitely put both the solo laners who are already struggling in a very uncomfortable position, and with them being on the red side, they see the full composition from the side of Saigon Buffalo before they make their last pick and make their last adaptive move, so definitely something that speaks a little bit in their favor. I think red side should definitely favor them to some extent, but they give away the Xayah just again. However, I think in this first game, Slows on Ophelos was more than fine. I mean, Ophelos Fresh could still be a rotation for them, and I think Shogun, despite him being kind of one of the star ADCs together with Style and Artemis, had a very quiet first game.
Okay, the Lee Sin being considered, Tomino has had very solid performances on the Lee Sin before. Okay, Sejuani going to be the first pick. Worked out alright for Sunma and still has that fight potential. I wouldn't be surprised to see some VA to carry locked in. The Aphelios, as you said, looked well. So lock that in and then maybe follow up with your Thresh on pick 3.
Would be interesting to see if they now pick Aphelios and then the Fresh gets taken away. Oh no, it's Lost Raven!
No!
And we get loud.
This is not good.
I mean, there's a still draft. Nameplates are on, of course, but I mean, regardless of that, I mean, assuming nameplates are off, this Draven's not a bad pickup. I mean, it's one of those ADCs that can't contest the Xayah. And I think we hold our judgment at least for a little bit before we can flame it to bits. I mean, 5 more minutes, Marby, 5 more minutes. As Foggy locks in his Talia, or rather Gui locks in Talia, and it might still be a flex pick. I mean, Gui had great Talia games beforehand, and Cassandra gets locked in. It's so flexible for the side of Saigon Buffalo. I love this.
Yeah, Cassandra definitely has room to move. I personally would like to see it mid lane on the grounds that Hasmed cannot play any tank that is not called Scion. And as we see, it looks like the Nautilus go for that kill threat for the side of MGN. Ashe is available. And
Ashe is available.
Straight through.
Leona is available. Tam Kench is available if you want to go to the protection road. Actually, Fresh is available. I mean, you could still play Draven Fresh lanes. And I hate Nautilus against Xayah. He's so telegraphed, and Xayah can just featherstorm his stuff.
Let's Crank is available. I don't know. There's lots of things available for sure. But Nautilus is definitely not by any means the worst pick. And now just going to try and take away some of the big enchanters and support matchups that they really don't want to play into. The Renata that absolutely make Draven's life hell. And presumably the Rakan will follow.
Yeah, presumably the Vulcan. On the other side, you can of course counterpick the Nautilus with a potential Leona pick on the side of Taki. That would be a very straightforward, easy way to get this Nautilus blown up. He looks quite tanky, but with the Glacial especially, or even with Aftershock, if he doesn't get the first CC initiation going on, he is getting blown up quite easily. As for Khan is taken out, the Leona not looking that unlikely for the side of Taki. I wonder if you could also go for something like a Fresh, because Fresh into Nautilus is winning for Fresh if the Fresh is absolutely stellar on the pick, and Taki might just be it. I mean, we have seen this one highlight play from his Fresh where he was absolutely mad-lifing the living hell out of the enemy champion in, I think it was really Winter.
Good. Yeah. You know what's really good into this matchup? Braum. Braum can absolutely crush this lane. I say this as the Braum aficionado. Braum into Nautilus is always good, and being able to just shut down Draven, especially his whirling death, that can be huge, and it's being considered as the lock-in will be confirmed as Sejuani jungle and Fiora top, but they decide Quincy is smarter than me and go Thresh.
That's not a decision I can really agree with. I mean, I'm not sure. I also would have liked the Braum. I think both of the pawns are quite good here. Either way, last pick being considered. That's the flexibility that I really love. I mean, they went with first rotation, Talia and Xante. Both could be played by Froggy, but probably neither of them will actually be played by Froggy. I mean, they're just now looking into the next, and you're still not quite sure where it's really going on. I mean, it's of course now pretty easily confirmable that Gobi goes Talia jungle, because out of those 3 champions, only Talia can really jungle. But I would expect Froggy actually to take this. I mean, what do I expect? I don't know what I expect. With Fiora being top lane?
Cassante,
yeah, same.
I feel Renekton is a nicer matchup, and now they're not sure what to play into this Cassante. Going for something like the Cassiopeia makes a lot of sense. Feel like you have a bit of a free lane to work with and can scale up into that beast of a mid laner. So these are your compositions. Quincy, how are you feeling nameplates off?
Nameplates off. Actually, I think that Box has a decent draft. I mean, it's a Draven Nautilus lane that's decent against Dire Fresh, at least in theory. I mean, you can at least win these ADC standoff battles and can cash in quite greatly. And Draven in general, one of the ADCs that can match up to Xayah. I think Fiora is good against both Renekton and Cassante long term, so we are fine in that regard. On another note, it's Box Esports. I haven't seen Sanma really perform up to the standards, especially the solo lanes, him and also Nugu in the mid lane, so let's wait and see how it really plays out. I think it could work, and this time he's on a hard carry with the Fiora, and Sejuani now put onto Tomrio, and maybe this works out fine. I mean, Sejuani can work great with the Fiora together, with the melees just proccing the permafrost very, very quickly. Gotta say though, I mean, nameplates on Saiyan Buffalo probably has it in this game as well.
Yeah, we see this Cassante mid popping up now and again. Froggy has played it a little bit. I don't think he's won on it so far, but he's been pulling out these tank mids, as mentioned. The Scion, he has played the one game of Cassante before now. It's a loss, but he's won on Scion, he's won on Kled, and he is absolutely looking to put a win onto Cassante as we move on to the Rift. He's looking to make these big plays and carry another game for the side of Saigon Buffalo.
Yes, reload onto the Rift right now. See, 4 members on the side of Saigon Buffalo going very, very deep onto this bot lane. Looking for potential invade play. Refresh, of course, you can do that.
Never mind.
Yeah. I was getting excited over nothing, I guess. But either way, I think they could have done it. I mean, Draven stepping up very, very far forward.
I think that's worse. I think, I don't know. I think you put the Renekton in the top lane because Husmid's bad on Cassante. He has not shown a good performance.
Maybe it's time to redeem himself, gain some confidence, and playing Cassante against the bottom team might just be like their approach to fix things with itself, right?
Possibly.
Maybe a bit of a stage scrim for them, as they just think against Box we can play whatever, and Husmed, show us you can play Cassante against the worst top lane of the league.
Yeah, and this time Froggy has gone for that priority attack, so he is going to go big and hard on that torpedo crocodile for sure. So now we see bot lane, sort of bot side start for Guru, and these junglers will be making different paths across the jungle rather than meeting in bot lane.
And we see classic Froggy already missing the first 2 out of 3 minions. Either way, Observer panning away, he doesn't want to see more of it. But I mean, to some extent I can't fault him because he went for the slice window to get the bone plating out of Cassiopeia, so she can't have it in a potential lane later on where she would get absolutely destroyed in melee range against the Renekton. And you addressed it, right? I mean, it's press attack this time. He will probably go the torpedo build this time to go for Prowlers and Blade of the Wound King instead of the Black Cleaver second. And against those squishy composition members on the side of Box, it makes a lot of sense, right? You play against Cassiopeia, you want to blow up the Draven, potentially even the Fiora if she happens to group with you. And here Guru is looking for a wraparound gank.
Oh, yeah, and it's an early aggression from the side of Zodiac. They hit that level 2, but Guri here on the cheese, going to just put in the damage. And Zodiac is in no man's land right now. Hook just missing with the minion wave coming through. And that's first blood to Shogun.
Yeah, first with the Shogun. He had a quiet first game this time, but the second game doesn't look all too quiet as he gets funneled the first kill with the web round gang from Gui. Aggression where aggression is needed, and Froggy for the next web round.
Yeah, Tamrio snuck in unnoticed, but Froggy is just there first, and it's already collapsing immediately from MBE on the spot side. That's going to be a blue buff taken away easily. Flash did get blown by both the mid jungle, but yeah, that's a dead Tamrio.
Yeah, poor Tomio, right? I mean, his mid laner's losing priority as Cassiopeia against Renekton at level 3. That doesn't really expect that one, I guess, as he just charges onto Gui. I mean, that alone looks fine, forcing even the flash from Gui, but he can just kite him out with the threaded volley on leveled earth and just even landing the seismic shove, making it so easy to deal as much damage as he possibly could to get the second kill of the game. And with that, Saigon Buffalo off to a great start yet again. 2 early kills. Gui just now falling off course to this play by the side of Nugu.
Nice. Yeah,
And
looks like a nice run from Zodiac.
Get the double buffs.
And
Nice.
that's going to give, double buffs to... That was a nice attempt on the poison. And now Froggy just in a world of hurt. Can't really step up to Nugu at all right now. With that blue buff, going to just be able to put in so much damage. And
Oh, he
Guri
gets
just
tagged.
gets
Chased on by
caught out a little
Miasma.
bit. Can't, no flash. Miasma, it's slow and a nice run
And they
from
just killed
Zodiac.
Why was Froggy not
Every-
in base? We already saw him being low HP. He has TP. I mean, he could just base and TP back to the lane, and now he just got the fast recall, I guess. This is just so sloppy from Saigon Buffalo. They have the game basically in the back from his first 2 kills, and first we see Guri going down, then we see Froggy going down, where he doesn't need to be. But someone needs to be careful. He's very low on mana. And Cassandra, I mean, despite being countered by Fiora, as such a fighting tank in the early game, you just beat on those stat-checky boozers, stat-checky fighters like the Fiora. You see again how Froggy fills it out.
Froggy tries to go in.
Yeah,
Oh.
down the level already against double buffs. He wanted those double buffs for himself, I guess, but just wanted to go for the outplay with baiting the enemy mid laner with him being low HP. But I mean, he was so low HP that he just straight up dies, and yeah, that shouldn't happen. Froggy could have prevented that death at least. For Guri, I think he just kind of got surprised by the roam for Zodiac. I think that's kind of fair, but Froggy's death was so unnecessary. I don't even know.
Yeah. Okay, but now Taki just misses the hook, so all is well. And the snake gets to continue sinking her fangs into some minions. And everything's pretty much even. A little bit of gold to the side of SGB from first blood bonuses and the likes, but it's all coming up okay for the side of MBE. If Nugu can pop off on this Cassiopeia, it could be devastating, going for the Leandries rather than a rower. So we'll come online a little bit faster, which I think MBE really wants to do and try and accelerate the pace of the game. Try and keep what leads they have and push them hard.
And Froggy kind of now struggling right now. I mean, he's down almost 20 CS. Gets to pick up the wave just now, and it's already 2 kills down to the Cassiopeia. Very much snowballing ahead on the side of Nugu. And also the Draven from the side of Slows looks fine right now. I mean, they lost this early death to the side of Shogun, but it was actually Zodiac falling down. And it just remains to be seen if the Draven can cash out big before he dies, or if he can't. And if he can cash out beforehand, should just be a game where Box at least has some agency in this early to mid game. Just getting their first Drake off the map. A first Drake, I think, in a long time for the side of Box Esports.
Yeah, grabbing that first Drake, but Guri has snuck his way into the alcove. This could be a big play for SGB, as long as SGB don't read that they are pulling the wave. They are holding this wave so close. Guri goes in, Flay gets the flash out, but good side steps from Slows. Which means it's just the flash traded for the ignite.
Just Flag for Ignite,
Flash for Taki.
and a lot of time also spent by Guri. I think that was not worth it at all, and I think Slows for now can live happily with that. I mean, as long as he can actually live with his flash being down. But let's remain and see how he plays out the next 5 minutes without the flash. So there's just some time window where the Flashless Raven can be punished, and maybe even needs to be punished, because otherwise that time spent out down bot lane for Gobi not really worth. Tomio should get this level 6 a bit quicker, but Hasmet is there to annoy him a little bit and maybe even steal away the scuttle if he doesn't smite it. Oh, okay, he gets it without the smite. But Hasmet not in range to really steal it away, so Tomio keeping his cool, unlike me who didn't do that.
Yeah, and there's just this camp set up by Guri, just does not want this Draven to go anywhere. And just permanently camping, but Flash from Zodiac cannot turn it into something more, but they try to change it onto Froggy, but there's just enough mobility to get away. It's a lot burnt. Health bars were taken out, so that should open up the Rift Herald. So all in all, good play coming out from side of MBE.
I gotta say, MGN Box Esports in these first around 10 minutes almost, definitely having a good game so far. I mean, getting the first wake, getting this Herald just now with the damage being down to Froggy, really punishing after those first 2 kid deaths that they have suffered to get all those Flashless members out here. Nugo, oh, that's a very awkward spot.
Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, that was not a good flash, but now Shogun may be in trouble. The hook comes through. That is a perfect Captain Jack on the late call, but in the end, that's really just the cleanse forced from the side of slows. Now, Tommy are trying to make something happen, maybe trying to give this Rift Herald to Hasmed, to Sunma, but Hasmed is just managing the wave extremely well.
Froggy pops the Dominus of Vision.
Yeah.
Well, we do actually. Weaver's wall, and you can flash over 1 wall, but you can't flash over 2 walls. And I wonder if that was intentional by the side of Gobi, because he's such an Avatalia player that he just keeps a little bit of extra space between those 2 walls, so that as long as he tries to flash over the 2 walls, that he actually gets stuck between those 2. It might have been intentional. I just really want to know what it really is. Sadly, I can't interview the player, but this looked very, very well planned out by the side of Second Buffalo. Net them their 3rd kill of the game.
Well, I mean, possibly. I feel that's hard to intend, but maybe. It does, in the end, it looks tragic from Nugu, regardless, and that flash ends up being wasted. So, it's a good pick by the Buffalo. They get some damage onto this top attack, and all in all, they are still just kind of passively winning. 2,000 gold, despite objectives falling into the hands of MBE. We're just seeing a bit of gold. We're just seeing a bit of lane difference coming out of Hasmed and Shogun. Froggy suffering a little bit, but that's somewhat to be expected.
Yeah, that's not really Froggy's game so far. I mean, we had this one. It is only there for this kind of greedy play where he tried to outplay Nogo, and it kind of cost him greatly, I gotta say. Also, not really lucky for his side that Nogo happened to get both kills. I mean, the other kill onto Gobi, where Gobi was punched with his flash down. Yeah, not really Froggy's fault. I mean, I think in that play also where he really lost the flash early on, Gobi didn't really need to flash either. And it's Everfrost on whom? Who's Everfrost?
Crown on Nugu.
Yeah. Crown on Nugu. Yeah. Maybe Everfrost will be for Gui, but Gui also, I think he likes to go with this heavy AP style where he just goes for Liandry's or plenty Loons. But it looks like Liandry's for now as he is sitting on an Amp Tome. Otherwise, I think he wouldn't go for the Amp Tome right now. And Hasmet, I mean, he's still fine. I mean, this is maybe his first good Cassandra game.
Yeah, currently having a decent time into Summer. Summer has been landing these riposts, but hasn't been able to really find the vitals. Hasn't been ducking and diving around, and Summer's Fiora not quite looking as well practiced as someone as, say, Yoshino or even Hasmed in other splits. So, Dragon is up on the table. It's the Chemtech Dragon, and currently good positioning from MBE. We'll start it up.
MBE with good positioning. Second Buffalo is in the lead, but they can potentially just give it away. I mean, you don't really have to fight this second individual Drake, especially a Chemtech Drake, which isn't even that good in the combat sets. So they actually look to trade it for some pressure on the map, some gold, maybe a plate or two for the side of Shogun. And this seems to be within their game plans at least. Gotta say though, for Box, if they somehow luckily get another Drake, they are on soul point, but no slows. His flash is back up, but it might not matter if he gets Dove here. However, the cover one from Tomio and the boys is here.
Oh, good move from Nugu. Perfect petrifying gaze to just shut that down. Can they get the cash in? Yes! On the return of the Whirling Death. Now, Nugu has to try and run away from Shogun. He is not going to be able to, and Shogun will pick up 2. 2 for 2 overall, but that cash in makes it a win for MBE.
Absolutely. I mean, that cash in, that kill probably counts as 2 or 3 kills. So, definitely something that they can live well off with. I mean, the gold lead was around 2,000, now it's back to almost 1k. I mean, even if they played the cash in, it's still a lot of gold for slows. However, he's down in overall gold to Shogun. I wonder how that really played out, but he will see the play again. Yeah. Nugu starting with some poison fangs onto Froggy. They try to play the one with the Weaver's Wall. Gui gets taken out because at the Talia, very easy to kill. And the Whirling Death manages to kill out Froggy. Good weight one also from the other members from Box Esports, so the net in really comes through for the Draven. Otherwise the Whirling Death wouldn't be able to finish the kill, as they could have killed him otherwise. The damage start definitely being there for them. So Box with some good plays, I gotta say. I mean, Tiger Buffalo still ahead, but Box definitely fighting back.
Yeah, that will be a nice bonus to the Draven to try and get him into a position where he can carry. I'm still impressed with Nugu's petrifying gaze, just knocking Guri off the wall and setting it up beautifully. Now there's been a bit of a switcheroo in the lane, so now Froggy may be taking a little bit of damage, but more importantly, some tower plates coming into the pocket of slows as he moves. Oh, not again.
They just fit the dive.
The attack was in the air. He earned that play.
And just smart to let Zolek tank the turret, and then just you see slows chunking down Froggy, where Froggy can't really return the fire, so that ultimately leads to Froggy having to base. What?
Oh!
He tried to stay on. Slows just solo dove him with the shield bow, and that's just another free kill, free cash in for Draven. This is not a disaster, but definitely not a good outlook for Tiger Buffalo.
It does delay the tower enough for Hassman to get first brick, but I don't know if that's really worth it, that extra kill, more than making up for it, especially on this Draven. And
it's not worth.
Froggy definitely just feeling himself a bit too much this game. SGB will respond with the Herald though.
Yeah, they just funneled some extra 100 gold into Draven to get some extra 100 gold, probably less into a Cassandra. I don't think that can be worth in any way, shape or form. And I mean, the first turret gold would have been there for the Draven otherwise. I mean, he kind of gets the same amount of gold, but not worth to give it to Cassandra though. You will see again how it played out. Froggy is a level ahead, but his HP bar is already so dwindled down. He doesn't have a Dominus. Slows also has the Sheep Bow passive, which will kick in out the next auto attack. Also, using the flash for it, I mean, that's just questionable. I mean, Froggy definitely didn't need to stay one for that one. Otherwise, he would just at least save his life. Give Draven the turret gold. But with that, Hassman at least got something on the other side of the map. But Draven cashing in so comfortably seems wrong to me.
Yeah, that was just a huge question mark from Froggy. He's rushing towards the Gore Drinker because he's been set so far behind. He can't be that torpedo he sort of intended to be with the runes. Either that or he just doesn't know how the runes are meant to go. Conqueror for the going Conqueror to pick up with the Prowler's Claw, and then
that was fine.
Press the attack Gore Drinker.
I gotta say, Conqueror was really fine, I think, with Prowlers and Cleaver. I mean, in the bigger picture, it makes sense again. I mean, just the Prowler's Claw seems a bit out of place, but just because you go Conqueror doesn't mean you have to also go Godwinker. I mean, that doesn't really line up. Prowler's Claw definitely was a winning item in that game for him, and definitely did its job more than fine in this game. I think, yeah, it's what you just now said. I mean, he went PTA, tried to go Torpedo, then he fell behind, was like, now I can't go Torpedo anyway. Just go Godwinker, Mercs, and just be like some sort of value for the team fights for my team, because I won't be the star player of my team this game for sure. So at least eat some of that ego and just let Shogun carry this game. It's likely the approach for Froggy right now.
Yeah, and this referral will drop and give Buffalo good angle at this dragon. Should keep MBE far away from it at least. That will take down the tower, and they can return to this dragon right now. Does MBE want to fight, or are they willing to just give it up right now? They're not that far behind, but this could be... Okay, that was
a zoning box.
An early box.
Bit early and also not really covering the full river. And they just walk around the long way on the side of box. But I mean, it delayed them enough to get the Drake. And I think that's the job really done by the side of Taki. I think it was very much, despite looking kind of iffy, a fine play for him to just use a box like this. And Gobi going for a quick one on the reverse wall, just to be there for the rotation to wave clear this. But I think he is diveable. He can't be there alone, so yeah. The squad is over there. Yeah, and also it was also nice not to show Tom Weir's Glacial Prism, because we didn't really need to see that.
We didn't need to, no. And now Harsman, he's got that fully completed Iceborne Gauntlet. He is a very, very strong duelist right now, and can absolutely, if Sumner mispositions, can absolutely get all out.
Yeah, Froggy in trouble.
Froggy in a lot of trouble. He's gonna try and turn it around, but
whoa.
he...
No! Why?
It comes back!
Just walk upwards! Like, I see that play coming, and I'm currently very, very bad at the game. Froggy, I should have higher standards for this guy. I mean, he managed to sidestep the first one and just deliberately walk back in. I mean, him not just dying to Nugu right here is applaudable, I guess, because he just goes the full web around on the Miasma, uses the slice to get out, Dominus to get HP. He sets up the first one, and he just walks back in. Why?
Yeah,
he could just not move at all and would be fine at least for a moment, and maybe give the kill to Nugu, which is of course not good, but not as bad as letting Draven cash in. But why are you doing this?
So that is now 3-0 on Draven. He has cashed in 3 times. Each time has been on Froggy. And now Froggy might just be in a bit of trouble again. And we've decided this time, instead of Farm Harsmed, we're going to play Farm Froggy.
Yes.
We'll land. There comes the Miasma. There comes the boar. And that is going to be a kill donated to Nugu.
And Froggy really needs to keep his head together. I mean, this looks a bit tilting what he's really doing there. Maybe he actually even is in this state of mind right now. It's just now basically the same pickup again. He just facing this bush. 3 people are there. His Dominus still down from the earlier play. And Gui at least able to clear this wave. And overall, still fine game for Second Buffalo, right? I mean, even Shogun, who plays against this ridiculously fat Raven, is fat himself and can somewhat keep up. He would very soon be able to finish his Navori quick plates, as he's sitting on this Caulfield's Warhammer and the Quick Cloak for a bit of a while right now. So he's not as behind as it currently looks to be.
Why are the Dravens in this league so allergic to building Infinity Edge second? Now, I will say this is better than the Bloodthirster and Rapid Fire Cannon 3 items that Slater went for, which led to him being a 0 damage Draven as the game progressed. But you can just go in Essence Reaver Infinity Edge and do 1 billion damage.
or go full affinity and just kill them with Whirling Death alone. I mean, the 2 damage execute not really working with that. But either way, I think the shield bow is fine, but I think especially at Raven, who gets so much gold, could just go IE second and just absolutely destroy people. This one, at least mechanically, he plays a good game this time. I mean, you were very up in arms as you saw the Draven lock in. This time, at least mechanically, he's definitely up to the task and can't really fault him for much here. As Gui goes for Invader to slows, and we were praising him too early.
Oh, no, apparently not, as, okay, the Lantern will keep Shogun safe, and Taki does bail him out of there, but Slows doesn't even blow a Summoner. I thought for sure he was going to need to flash.
And this might just be buried for box. They have Cassiopeia, they have a TP, this is a lot of damage. Fiora even as well, 51 Sunova, can absolutely melt this Baron, and it forces the reaction of Second Buffalo. Froggy is up there, Husband as well, but where's Gui?
But Slows is on the wrong side of the wall, and this is just going to be a complete win from the side of Buffalo. Huge Petrifying Gaze can maybe turn around, though. Slows hasn't gotten auto attack off yet. There's 1, he blows up 2. Nugu will pick up 2, but it's traded back.
Froggy, no.
Sun and Zodiac, and now Froggy tries to get something done, almost dies. But with that, with Tomrio getting out as well, it's an even trade.
Even trade maybe slows because he's so healthy and so life-steely in a position to just get his next Drake in a few seconds. With Guri also being down, it's 2 for 2 traded. And Baron stoppage is of course a net win for the side of Second Buffalo in the first place. It looked like quite a shocker for them. You will see how the wheel plays out. Foggy goes for the Dominos. Taki with a good hook into box Flay. And also the seismic shot from Guri I'm very much liked, as it really denied Summer and Zodiac from really playing the game out. With that, Guri of course falls to the poison. So at the end of the day, still Nugu getting quite fed in this exchange, but with 3 members versus 3, it is no Baron to be taken by anyone. But the Drake now taken by Box, and it is Box on Soul Point now.
Yeah, that works out in the end for MBE, and honestly, it's really great for MBE that they were able to even that, because as I said, Slows was not there early, and it felt like a bit of a 4v5. Not really able to get those through. Hex Flash from Zodiac, and Saigon try something, but they can't quite commit to it.
Go weak.
Yep, Wall will just make sure they can't siege down mid. Jumped off on the right side. And now
I was a bit nervous for Gui though. I was a bit nervous for Gui just getting killed by Nugu and Sloth over there. And Saigon Buffalo haven't given up this Baron yet, they just go again for it. And Tomio, I think he was... No, he's not in base, he's actually looking right around the corner. And this could just be a bit too flippy for a top team. Taki with the box being there, but they don't really have anything to get Tomio out, right?
Yeah, Tomio can't really get in. The Draven is not there. They might be able to pick up Froggy and Hasmed on the way out. The all-out will bring Sumner over the wall. And if they can keep him off the Lantern, they do. They're going to deny 2 Baron buffs and pick up a mid lane tower, but it's still Baron for SGB.
Gui?
Maybe they can turn it around. Big ultimate from Tom Rio, but no ability to follow up.
And I'm not quite sure how worth it really is to give 2 kills and the mid lane tier 1 to it for the Baron. I think it's fine if they make some use of this Baron itself. I mean, they definitely need to really make it worth anything. Currently, the Baron power play in the negatives, but that's to be expected if you instantly drop 2 kills with it. Gotta say though, Saigon Buffalo getting this Baron means that they can use this Baron to establish like some priority in these lanes, especially for this next wave, which should be sold for the side of Box Esports. Here we see how they really play it. They just rush down the Baron, then just drop in Hasmed and Foggy to deny Tommy from entering the pit. This is ultimately a suicide mission for them. If it's just those 2, I think it's fine for now, but then also dropping the mid lane tier 1 to it is the direct result of that. So for now it's not worth, but Saigon Buffalo in these next 3 minutes can show us why at the end of the day it was still a worthy play for them.
Yeah, you're a bit upset you lost it on both your side laners, but if you really want, but I guess this is where you transition your jungler into being your side laner if you really wanted to. As it is, they're just going to try and force as much as they can with the Baron, but it's really hard for them to do so. Right now, their siege is not the best, and as I said, without being able to pressure that Baron on the second lane, it's a bit hard to pull MBE around the map. And now that Summer is sort of back into the game after getting that shutdown onto Hasmed, he can now threaten the side lanes and keep up and just undo a lot of the damage that SGB is about to.
Yeah, I mean, this top lane tier 1 turret surely falling on the side of SGB, so Fear were getting 1 pick up over there. But this inner turret in the bot lane might just be a consolation prize for Saigon Buffalo. With the Baron empowered push, they can easily grab this one and make the Baron power play around net neutral, I think. I think with this turret, it's 200 up. That's basically nothing for a Baron buff, especially considering that Baron itself gives you some money. So, for now, very questionable Baron decision. But, I mean, maybe the Baron itself is just something that also brings some chaos into the minds of Box, and it might just be worth for them in that regard. But ultimately, it is a potential Ocean Soul up for taking on the side of Box in a few minutes. And usually, I mean, we say Ocean Soul is potentially the weakest soul, as if you get one shot, you get one shot, you get no value of the soul itself. But they have a Shield Bow Draven hitting the Euro 3 items, and the Cassiopeia with Crown. You can't really one-shot them that easily, and they will definitely take some great value of an Ocean Soul.
For sure. Tomrio as well, going to be able to just sit and live in that front line for a long time. Sumner as well, if he plays around that riposte correctly. And I guess the best way for this Baron buff to really play for the side of SGB with what little... Oh, I guess it's gone already. Never mind.
It's gone. Yeah.
I was going to say, just try and make sure you have those bot middle waves pushed so you can control the pit. But that's not going to happen.
Could we looking for a pick?
Try and find a pick. does not connect.
Yeah, I mean, even if it connects into Tomio, he's probably tanky enough, despite having no MR really in his kit, that he can still at least take this chunk and just drop to like 60% and maybe even heal it back up for this next Drake situation. 30 more seconds are on the timer to really play around it. We've seen Foggy going for Deadman's Blade second to have some teamfight value, looking kind of cute over there. But I think that's actually maybe what he has to do.
Oh, big engage coming on through, and that is an instant removal of Guri. That's your big carry threat down besides Shogun. Now Shogun has to play extremely well. The damage is too much from Slows. He's got another one. Hasmed is now doing his best in the backline. He can't even... Okay, he can kill Zodiac, but that is all he's going to get. And that is a clean triple kill and an Ocean Soul for MBE. And Taki is going to just try and execute.
He executed it.
He gets it.
It's a 5-for-1. It's Ocean Soul for the side of Box, and they can just keep pushing in the mid lane. I wonder if they could actually try to go for something like finishing the game right there. But here we see how the fight really played out. I think it started off with a good Glacial Fissure. No, Glacial Prism. Sorry to say that.
Yep.
By the side of Tomio to really find this corridor. Also not really ideal. Blade Collar's out. Dash. Shogun really using everything to dodge it together with Taki in the Dark Passage, and they immediately blow up Gui. Blade Collar to buy some time, but it's just enough to buy some time for nobody really, as Slows can just keep hitting people, can kill Shogun, the DPS not really being there on the side of Second Buffalo for the follower play. Hasmed gets one consolation kill, but then ultimately not enough for the side of Second Buffalo. Box now with Soul, with a 3k gold lead on their side, looking to maybe win their first game of the split.
Yeah, they're in a commanding position to do so with the Soul now in their pocket. Still only 2,000 gold though, so Buffalo aren't necessarily out of it just yet. All it takes is one good fight. And as you can see, it's only now that MBE actually have a gold lead. They've been down in gold all game, but it's never been more than 2,500. So, been on a knife's edge this entire time. Now it's starting to slip towards SGB. Oh, sorry, away from SGB. Froggy, looking in.
Froggy not really a champion though. Fiora, however, though, despite being good in the game, she's not really a team fighter. She could maybe get blown away.
But he has to engage, but it's going to be counted immediately. Zodiac will die, and Shogun is in the backline shooting through these feathers. It's a good clump for Shogun. Wait for the pullback. He's gonna get some. Now Slows is gonna die, and that's a 5-0 ace against the Soul. And Buffalo, they were not gonna be the team that lost to MGN Box Esports, and they're just gonna try and push for the end now. They can tank these turrets for days. They don't need anything else, and we curse them. We curse them, Nancy.
I'm about to cry about this. I mean, it's over in a few seconds. I was so ready for Box to really win their first game, and I actually would have been happy to cast another game of those just because it would net them the first win. And they just get out team fought by with Ocean Soul against SGB and just get blown up 5-0. SGB just pretending to be bad for a solid 10 minutes. And at the end of the day, it's still a 2-0 for them, and I'm just sad for Box.
That's so tragic.
I don't know.
That was theirs.
Yes. I also don't think you could really play this fight like this. I mean, Slows had some seconds to free it, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, the kills just came in quicker for the side of SGB. And maybe this game a good argument for the state of Ocean Soul being actually not that game winning in itself. I mean, they even had good champions for Ocean Soul, right? I mean, we said it, right? Chronos Shadow Queen Cassiopeia, a Shieldbolt Raven, a Fiora, which had already had Divine Sandor and like some sort of tankiness. And the Sejuani as well. They had basically all the tools in their hand, and it still wasn't enough.
I'm just so devastated for MBE. Do they even show up to play against Flash on Saturday, or are they just...
Yes, they should. This is where they strike back. Yeah.
Or are
From
they
now on,
just too tilted to even turn up to the stadium, man? I don't know. I give up. Look at that brief spike of hope in the gold graph.
Yes. That's emotional damage. Yeah. Them not dropping one teamfight, dropping the Soul, and then SGB like, just kidding, we just out teamfight you despite you having Ocean Soul, we don't care. But maybe from now on, MBE Box Esports wins. All these peasants thinking they aren't good. LMFAO and all of us. And I don't know how the copy pasta's really going. Either way, Team Secret fans are forced to watch it.
MBE's wrath will be swift.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's the Acadian copy pasta, but
yeah, I mixed those two up. I used sentences from both.
Yeah. I'm just so I don't know how else to react. That is MBE. They continue their loss streak, I suppose. Wales, Buffalo will tie Team Wales and SBTC in series score. Game score, they should be ahead of both, but put them into the dubious position of third place. But I'm so sad. I was so excited for a game 3. I was excited for MGN to be on the board. But now they're just 0-12 and in games 0-6. They have one more match in the first round robin.
Some silver linings. I think we were very upset about Slows Draven and Cassante for Hasmet. I think those in particular didn't play that bad. I mean, far from it.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
Hasmet was very fine on Cassante and Slows Draven. I'm not quite sure how I can really fault him for this last team fight. Maybe it was actually his fault and he should just easily get kills over there. But I need to rewatch it to really be sure about anything there. On another note, SGB now still losing that disgusting game kind of shows that they have resilience as a top team. And Froggy basically didn't participate in this game, and they still lost it 4v5 against an Ocean Soul. So kudos to them.
Yep. So I mean, SGB, they are showing that. Yeah, they're definitely showing a lot more resilience. Not that first couple of weeks was just an anomaly. They are back on. They're back on the wagon. They're ready to head to playoffs. And continue crushing the league. So that's But with all that said, that's it for us tonight. A short 4-0 day, short 4-game day. I'll be back tomorrow with Team Wales and Team Secret and Cerberus first SBTC. Quincy, I don't think will, but VCS will.
Yeah,
For
VCS
sure.
will be back. I will be benched, but either way, 3 more days of VCS without my lovely voice or not so lovely voice. You decided on your own. So, regardless of that, tomorrow is another day, and maybe the day after tomorrow, the first MGE Box Esports win. But see each other on the Rift or on the stream so far in the next few days. So, have a good evening and bye bye.